guys, welcome to LeBeau's Lessons, Leadership Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Abbot's Lessons. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please, while you listen to the shows, while you listen to the audios, give us an honest review. That really helps the podcast. And also share it with people that you believe might benefit from the lessons.
Absolutely. We have a great show for you guys today. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 lessons of a seasoned leader. Last week, we talked about lessons, three lessons for a new leader. Today, we're going to talk about what a seasoned leader knows that many new leaders do not. But before we get to that, we're going to get into some of our headlines. Let's see. What are we talking about today? We have some social topics going on. You know, I like to steer clear from political talk, you know, and I've also been trying to steer clear of the COVID talk because, you know, people are kind of tired of hearing about it, and we don't want to talk about that all the time, right? Because it's just all over the place. But we will go there today, just a little bit. All right. So, all right. Have you heard about what's going on in Texas? We're here in Texas. Thank God my kids have always been homeschooled. And yes, I see it as a flex, okay? And I'm going to brag about it. And I'm glad and I'm proud, rightly so, because it was a big sacrifice.
Is that actually seen as a flex?
I think some people see it as a flex. I actually don't see it as a flex. I'm kind of joking here, but I am proud to be a homeschooler. But I am glad that my kids don't have to deal with what's going on now, because it is a difficult situation a lot of parents are in. But I am going to
technically, I mean, I'm just thinking.
Go ahead.
Technically, that makes it harder for you as a mom, right?
Yes.
Homeschooling your kids.
Yes. I would say that homeschooling for me is going to be different for everybody because everybody has different limitations. I was built for this, okay? When I was a kid, let's say that I had to take care of my siblings. I had to raise my siblings. And not only did I have to raise my siblings, but I was made to take care of a lot of other kids in my entire family. So I was just the, the default babysitter for everybody from 6 years old. But the great thing about it is that I've always loved babies and I've always loved children and I've always worked with children for years. So, you know, homeschooling for me is my pleasure. I love being around my kids. I love talking to them. I love educating them. So it's great for me.
Yeah.
It's great for them. For a lot of other parents, I'm not shaming them. A lot of other parents struggle in that area, and it's not something that they feel called to. And I say that on purpose because honestly, homeschooling is not just about public school education versus at-home education. It's a whole lifestyle. It's a whole philosophy behind it. And so it's much deeper than that. It's about the legacy I want to have for my family. So anyway, Governor Abbot, he's been doing a lot of interesting things, and let's see what he's been getting into. Here's a headline from Yahoo News. Texas governor threatens to take school districts that defy ban on mask mandates to court. Okay, if you've been watching this, it's not anything new. Governor Abbott has been making a lot of threats to different people in the political parties and different, just community leaders, and now it's gotten to the school district. So it says, Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton announced the filing of a petition Wednesday to strike down an emergency order mandating masks in schools, businesses, county buildings in Dallas. Why it matters. Their statement threatens that any school district, public university, or school government official that decides to defy the order will be taken to court. So I didn't know that it went that far.
Even the universities?
Even the university said public university. Okay, all right. So here's something. Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins earlier Wednesday signed an emergency order that would apply to child care centers, preschools through 12th grade schools, businesses, and Dallas County facilities. And so Abbott and Paxton argue that Jenkins' actions violated Abbott's statewide ban on masks. There was a statewide ban on masks? Okay. And
Really?
vaccine mandates, which he claims supersedes local rules and regulations. A Texas judge temporarily voided Abbott's ban on Tuesday night to prevent it from being enforced. Okay, so in terms of leadership, so Governor Abbott is using his power as governor to prosecute anybody who goes against his ban on masks. Now, with everything going on in the news about the Delta variant and how now kids are more at risk than they ever had been before with COVID, a lot of districts and teachers, they feel like it's their responsibility to protect the kids by making them wear masks, just because they don't want the kids' lives to be at risk, especially when there are kids who are at risk with autoimmune disorders, with lots of different personal issues that they shouldn't have to personally disclose to the school. They may have some genetic or different illnesses that they're dealing with that put them at risk. So to avoid all that, it makes sense to them to just make everybody wear the mask so that everyone's protected from each other. And a lot of parents are feeling like school is about to be shut down again, because they feel like if kids go into schools without masks and the numbers start surging, they're going to close school down again. So I'm wondering if the parents, since I don't have kids in the public school, I wonder if the parents are thinking, I want my kid to have a mask. I want everybody to have a mask so that my kid can keep going to school. Because if the kids don't wear masks, it's most likely they're all going to a lot of them are going to get COVID, and then they're going to have to shut down completely.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It seems like it's in the best interest of the parents and the students and the teachers and the school districts as a whole to make the kids wear masks so that they can continue to keep attending school. Because to me, if memory is serving me correctly, last year, Governor Abbott was really fighting for kids to continue going to school. So if they're saying just to continue going to school, we just have to have the mask on, it makes sense that he would be in favor in that. But it seems that what he cares more about is not necessarily that the school won't be shut down. It's more about if they have to wear the mask or not. I'm really struggling to see where the wisdom is in this. It's making me, I'm really struggling to see why exactly he feels threatened by these children and young adults being made to wear masks to go to school. Like, what is it going to do to him? How is it hurting him? How is it violating anybody's rights? I guess he's saying it's violating their rights by making them to wear masks to attend. Now, if they don't want to wear a mask, can't they do school from home? You still have that option. There's no gun to your head, right?
Yeah.
If you're against your kids wearing masks at school, then homeschool them. What do you think? I mean, you just graduated. If you had to go back to school, but under the mask mandate, meaning you have to wear a mask to go back to school, do you feel like that's fair? Do you feel like that's infringing on your rights, or what do you feel?
The thing is, I feel like I do highly believe that everybody wants to go back to school.
Yeah.
Especially the students, like the new freshmen, because I'm international, like I always say, the locals are good, but the internationals that have been dreaming of coming here for college and they just came through first year and it was COVID.
Yeah.
That's a little crazy for a kid that's 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact that students, at least college students, and even the younger students, everybody wants to go to school. Now, I don't know. I feel like this leadership thing, especially in the Western world, not even only in the Western world, I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes it's like, it's made, we, we, we position the rules based on what we want to do. For example, you're saying, I do want to go back to school if I was a student. I'm still am a student, by the way.
Yes, I forgot.
If I do want to go back to school. So even if I don't want to wear a mask and they tell me to wear a mask to go to school, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because I want to go to school. Now the thing is, my point is, it's crazy how sometimes somehow the rules in here in this country are violating our rights, but we're still doing them. So why is the governor not talking about these too? Why is it only when it's about the mask that it's such a big deal? My point is, school already has rules. We don't always agree with the school rules. Some of them may be violating our rights, but we don't complain about it. We just do them. So I just feel like sometimes that whole leadership thing, not even the governor Abbott, a lot of leaders and people in positions do that, depending on, if I don't really like that part, okay, let's apply the rule. But when I kind of like it, then the rule is fine.
All right, so final thoughts. Do you give Governor Abbott's decision a thumbs up or thumbs down, Mohammed? Come on, we have to do this. Thumbs up or thumbs down? One,
thumbs
two.
Up for, hold on. Thumbs up for what?
Do you agree with him or disagree?
Do I
thumbs up if you agree with what he's doing, thumbs down if you disagree, okay?
If I agree that he's suing the school for enforcing the mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, we both agree. Leadership fail. Dun, dun, dun. Leadership fail. I feel like that's a leadership fail. I think he's making a bad decision. And I feel like of all the decisions, you have to remember, we will be remembered for the problems we create. And I think that he's creating a lot of problems. It's not always about how you start, it's about how you finish. And I feel that in the beginning years for Ken Paxton and for Greg Abbott, before all of this stuff happened, they both had a really good reputation. They were respected by both political parties in the state of Texas to some degree by a large majority. This is taking down their approval rate drastically. And I don't know why this is the battle that they want to fight for. And this is what they want to stand on most of all. And I think that it's going to negatively impact them overall. I think it will lead to, it'll lead to dire consequences for their careers. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't agree with this leadership point. Let's go to the next. So movies, I saw Suicide Squad. Okay.
Wasn't Will Smith in that too?
Who? No, he wasn't. No. It was Idris Elba.
Oh, right.
But he's played a Will Smith type character. Right. He was a deadbeat dad. He was a deadbeat dad that his daughter hated him, just like Will Smith's character before. And it was just like, okay, the black guy has to play the deadbeat dad. Okay, that's fine. So
was it a deadbeat dad?
Yeah, he had to his daughter. No, to his daughter, his black daughter. But the point is, this is like, okay.
Yeah.
I was watching it because of my son, he's into it. And that's, we let the kids sometimes pick movies too, because, we just like to switch it up, let the kids pick movies too, so that he's into superheroes. So
even if you don't like the movie, you still watch it?
Yeah, to be fair, so everybody gets a chance to watch a movie, because there's some movies we want to watch with our kids. So you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, they want to watch movies with us too. They want us to see the movies they like, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that movie, The Suicide Squad, it um if you're into that, it's you're gonna like it. It had all of the elements. It had the action, it had funny things, it had, a lot of good visuals. So that's that. So is it a family movie? I don't know about that. I don't know if it's a family movie because of the choice language in it. Um, I think that it's like a young adult movie for fans of like superhero stuff.
What do you mean choice language? Is it more like
There's a lot of profanity in it.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's the only downside to me. But otherwise, I don't know. I like real movies. I like drama.
She said real movies.
I like international movies. I like a lot of French movies. I like those.
I like
And
drama too.
whenever I don't want to watch a movie that's going to be wrapped up in a little pretty bow and everything works out every time, I watch a French movie because it's never there. Those movies always leave you open-ended. Like it's just sometimes the ending is just like blah. But sometimes you want a blah ending. Sometimes you just want it to just like, okay, well, we don't know what's going to happen. So whatever,
Yeah, I agree with that.
I want something real sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of movies. I mean, we all know the basic movie story structure. It's gonna start maybe small. I mean, maybe slow, maybe not. Something is gonna happen, then blah blah blah. I mean, we know the basic structures. So sometimes I agree with that. It's nice to have something unexpected or something that you don't really know how it's gonna end.
Yeah.
To get you thinking a little.
I don't like those French movies that have a really tragic twist to it. Like what was that coming from? Like, wow, really? Just like some very disturbing stuff that happens. I don't like that stuff. But I like stories. So anyway, okay.
African movies still have that a lot.
Oh Lord, don't get me started on African movies, Indian movies, or K-dramas.
Indian movies too.
Yeah,
and
it's
the
too much.
slow motion part when it's about to, and it's crazy with the Indian movies. It's like they have slow motion inside the slow motion. It's like it will start. They'll have various levels to make you feel that intensity. It's crazy.
Well,
I don't like
I don't
it.
know. I don't know. Okay, so I have a book. I have a book suggestion for you guys. It's Jesus CEO by Lori Beth Jones, and it is about being an Omega leader, basically a leader that encompasses the alpha and the beta. It's a very interesting concept. Is okay, you know how there's a mother and a father in a family, right? Let's not get started on any of that other stuff. But there's a mother and a father. There's both of those energies being balanced. I'm going to say the truth is, even if you have a same-sex couple, marriage or family type, there's always going to be a masculine and a female energy. Okay, together, those energies raise the child, right? Okay, Lori Beth Jones concept, it doesn't touch on anything like that. But the reason why I use that as example is because what she's saying is that if you pay attention to Jesus's leadership strategy or style, he showed both a masculine and feminine balance. He wasn't all alpha male with his leadership. And he also wasn't too soft with his leadership. So what she's saying is that a good leader knows how to balance both when the time calls for it. Certain situations call for you to have more masculine energy, and certain situations call for more feminine energy, depending on who you're dealing with and what they're going through. I look at it as humility versus pride. If I'm sitting across from an employee who has a proud attitude, the masculine energy is going to come out. If I'm sitting across an employee who has a humble attitude, let's say both of these employees did something equally wrong. They made the same mistake. One has a proud attitude. One has a humble attitude. One doesn't think they really did anything wrong. They don't see any problem with it. The other says, I'm very remorseful. I'm very sad. I'm sorry that this happened. I'm never going to do it again. The one that has a proud attitude is going to get the aggressive part of me. The one who has the humble attitude is going to get the gentler side, because I don't need to pound them over the head because they already feel bad. So
you deal with the energy, you deal with the energy that you get. For example, when you get the pride or the power or the masculine energy, you handle it giving back the same energy.
Right, because if you are dealing with a person who has a proud attitude, they don't see anything wrong, and you give them that soft energy, like, oh well, it's okay, yeah, it'll be all right, and they're going to feel even more right and continuing to do wrong. Right. However, if you take a person who's already feeling bad for what they've done, and then you bring them that aggressive energy, you might break them. You might send them over the edge. So this book is about knowing how to lead from both sides, depending on the situation. And so that's what that is about. So I recommend that. Now we have our strawberry letter. We were reading the strawberry letter at the end in the past, but now we're going to be reading it in the beginning, because sometimes I like to speak to the strawberry letter during the thing. Okay, so, all right, we have somebody Fed Up in Fort Worth. Fed Up says, I work as a manager at a gas station chain, and I have the most lazy clerks, but this one is the laziest. Over the past few weeks, I have been having to pick up the slack for this one clerk, Jake. Jake is often late. He doesn't work efficiently and doesn't take instructions well. The other day, I got a text message screenshot from my boss saying that I will have a one-on-one with him and Jake, because apparently Jake has been telling upper management that I have been screwing up. What should I do about a problem employee saying that I am the problem? It's one of those situations where the problem says, what's the problem? You're the problem. You're the drama. And now you want to go to upper management? Mohammed, what do you think about this before I say anything?
I don't really know, honestly, because these are real tough situations that will require confrontation.
Yeah.
So now, how do you handle that confrontation? That's where maybe, I mean, me personally, of course, confrontation for sure. Now, how I'm going to handle it, then that would depend maybe on the energy that I'm getting.
Yeah.
But to me, this is already some masculine, want to kill me energy, or want to get me in trouble energy. So maybe there I will figure out how to approach, but definitely a confrontation with Jake about that.
I think that Jake got to this point because he has no reverence.
What do you mean by reference?
Reverence.
Oh, reverence. What does that mean?
A healthy dose of fear. It's like, when you're growing up with your parents, your parents love you, but you're still afraid of them.
Oh, that's reverence?
Reverence.
Okay.
It's when you have a touch of fear or respect or regard or honor for a person in authority over you, because you know that in spite of the fact that you have a good relationship with them or that they care about you, that you still they still can give you consequences. Jake has no reverence. If he has persisted in doing this, it says over a few weeks, to me, that means he has no fear of any consequences with you. Why is that? Why does Jake feel unthreatened, like he feels confident that he could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He can show up late, he cannot do his work, he doesn't have to listen to instructions, and he could go to upper management and say, you're the problem.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he has a problem at all. He has a proud attitude. And the reason why I'm saying why is that, because I always bring it back to leadership, okay? It says that you've been having to cover for Jake. You've been covering for Jake. Have you been talking to Jake? Have you been training Jake? Have you been laying the law down for Jake? Because there are certain leaders that as soon as you screw up the very first time, they're already setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's very clear from Jump Street that they let you know off top what it's going to be. When you set those boundaries, every person that doesn't want to fall in line will quickly eliminate themselves. That's when people start quitting.
Yeah.
They'll start quitting right from the beginning. Once they understand that there's rules,
yeah,
they get out.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are going to be the troublemakers is a vetting process. That's why they have boot camp in basic training when you first go to the military. They use that boot camp in the beginning to get rid of all of the people. Yes, to filter. And I feel that Jake is confident in what he's doing, and he probably feels like he can get rid of you.
Yeah.
So where's the leadership failure? For me, what I think the leadership failure here is not setting clear boundaries. Possibly, I wouldn't say it's a training issue, because showing up to work late repeatedly, failing to follow instructions repeatedly is not a training issue. It is an attitude issue, okay? And his attitude says to me, he has no fear, okay? He has no fear. You're a pushover to Jake. And that is the problem. You're being too nice. And the question is why? And if you don't address it, I would bet that there's probably been multiple Jakes. What did he say? He said, I work as a manager and I have the most lazy clerks. So what does that tell me? You have a lot of Jakes, and you probably had a lot of Jakes in the past, and you'll probably have more Jakes in the future, because for some reason, your clerks don't respect you.
Yeah.
Why don't they respect you?
Or maybe a lot of Jake's trying now, because if he says most lazy, so there's probably a group of lazy clerks, and Jake is number one.
Yeah, I think that people like this, from what I've seen from my experience, people like this have this problem over and over again because they keep doing the same thing. They're being friends with their employees.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's called familiarity.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that being too nice concept, 1000%. Even if you want to be friends with your employees, boundaries, man.
Familiarity breeds conceit, is it? It means that if you are too familiar with your employees, they'll start to disrespect you.
Yeah.
I think that this manager is trying to be the friend manager, the cool manager that everybody loves. And when you want to be like that, same thing as when you want to be the cool mom, the cool dad, the cool parents that don't have any rules and they let their kids drink at the house, excluding French people, because we know French people let their kids drink. But when you don't want to have any rules and blah, 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 and then your kids start cursing you out, then you'll find out why they need rules. I think this manager needs to toughen up, and they need to address the issues within themselves. Yeah. Therapy, why they let people walk all over them. And I bet you one thing, this Jake he's talking about at the job, I bet you there's more Jakes in his life outside of the work.
Oh yeah. 1000%.
Because if he's being a pushover at work, he's probably being a pushover in relationships,
Oh, yeah.
friendships, family,
Oh yeah.
everything.
Oh yeah. 1000%. Whatever his girl is, oof, damn. Oh my.
What are you saying, Mohammed? What are you saying?
No, because even when you were talking about, I was thinking about relationships. Because whoever that manager is, being a nice guy, if that's how it is with his girl, that's man, this guy is suffering. He needs some therapy right now.
Yes. I think it's probably something to do with anxiety, stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's a good point, and it's really hard to, first of all, to identify and to accept that you are also the problem, which comes back to accountability, because he could be thinking it's Jake the problem. And that's how a lot of people are thinking. Coming back to relationships, that's why a lot of people, guys and girls, oh, it's you, especially the girls. It can't be me. There's no way it can be me. What did you do? Where is your accountability in this whole cycle? So I'm pretty sure this guy maybe doesn't even want to admit, maybe he knows, but he has to understand that he also has his part of responsibility in this. And just like you said, figuring out how to resolve it. Because if you don't fix the inside, it's not going to express outside the way you want it to express.
What Mohammed is talking about, the responsibility that's on the manager is you have to understand as a leader, if you are like this person fed up in Fort Worth, you have to understand that as a manager, you have a responsibility, or let's say you have consequences for not setting boundaries. Every time you don't set a boundary, there will be a consequence. And that's how you'll know that you didn't set a boundary there, because someone will cross the line.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a line that you didn't know you had to have a boundary for, but you have to say that and feel confident in that. And if you don't have any boundaries in life, especially in the workplace, you will live in a mental prison. You will be in a prison in your own mind, because you have to walk around pleasing everybody. You know who never gets pleased? You.
Yourself. Yeah.
So we can't live like that. So I would say when you go into that one-on-one meeting, be as honest as you possibly can, and let that be your birthday. Let that be the day that the new you is born, the one that has some masculine energy and knows how to apply it correctly when the situation calls for it, and that you are confident, and that you let Jake know before the end of that meeting that he will no longer play with you, okay? Lay it down on the line, all right? You have the leverage, you're the manager. You have more pull, more say so, and you've been there longer than Jake, so use that. Jake is a new guy who's coming in trying to act like he's all that. Put him in his place.
Yeah, I've had to have these conversations, and it's hard. I don't want to drag this too long. We need to get into the 5 lessons. I'm just going to say one last thing here. You remember one day I sent a text in the group, and then you said, oh, Muhammad, that was, I don't remember exactly what you said. I think you said that was intense, or that was hard, or that was something.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I was like, I don't remember what the situation was. I was like, oh, you sent that?
But funny enough, sending that text was hard for me.
Really?
Yeah. Because like I told you before, I was born and raised, I was raised in a nice guy environment.
Yeah.
I was raised to be a nice guy. So I still have the, how do you call it? The patterns.
Yeah. And you have to catch yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to catch myself and get out of it.
Oh, well, yes. So what Muhammad is saying is that this is something that you have to practice over and over again. It's not going to just be like, okay, you lay down the rules with Jake, and then No, Jake is going to keep testing you over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And any other Jakes too. So you just have to keep reminding yourself, nope, I can't let this slide. I've got to address it.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to address it.
That's exactly what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Now we're going to get into the 5 lessons of seasoned leaders. Okay. Get your pens ready. Number 1. Here is something that seasoned leaders know. Adaptation takes time because your subordinates won't always understand your decisions because you don't have the same goals.
Mm.
You don't have the same goals. Let's take Fed Up as an example. You're the manager. Your goals and objectives and job descriptions are different from a clerk's, right? And the other people that are under you. Some of the decisions that you have to make as a manager are because of the burdens of responsibility that is on you. So when you come down with those rules and those boundaries, you say, okay, guys, this is new rule 1, new rule 2, new rule 3. And they're like, huh, what, why? I don't understand. What? They don't understand what's on you, okay?
Yeah.
They don't understand why you had to put those things in place.
Mm.
So they will not always understand your decisions, and that's okay. In that moment, you can educate them. You know, I like to have rules with relationship. I like to explain the rules so that people understand why they are there to protect them.
Yeah.
That is my philosophy with my children. When I was growing up, we grew up under this old saying, Mohammed, and I don't know if it's the same from you and your culture. Children are to be seen, but not heard. This is what I grew up with, okay? My mom did not talk to me unless she was telling me to do something.
Yeah.
That's it, okay?
Yeah.
And because of that, I was very rebellious because she gave me rules with no relationship.
Mm.
She did not explain to me why.
She didn't connect the why.
She didn't connect the why. Had she connected the why, I would have saw the wisdom
Exactly.
in the rule.
Yeah.
So I would have protected myself with the rule, even without her being there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes.
if you want your employees to follow the rules without you having to enforce them all the time, is you have to take the time to say, hey, we have these new rules because this is what I'm going through. This is what happened. And now we have to do this. And if we can do this together, then we can avoid this happening. Now you've got some people who are on board with your plan, right? Show them the wisdom in it, okay? Number 2, you don't have to control everything in your environment. You don't have to control everything in your environment. A seasoned leader knows how to delegate, okay? I see this a lot of times, Mohammed. Small business owners, they're just used to working by themselves.
Right.
They never had to be a leader their whole life.
Oh, that's a good point.
Never had to be a leader. Now they have a business and they have people that are working under them. They still want to micromanage.
Never had to be a leader.
Never had to be a
That's
leader.
a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought of it like that, but that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now they're in a leadership position all of a sudden, and they want to micromanage. And on the employees end, the employee looks at micromanagement as, you just don't think I can do my job. You don't,
Right.
And that's not true. That's not true. They hired you because they think you can do your job. And they're confident in that. The problem is they have a problem with letting go because they're not used to sharing the load.
Yeah.
It takes time for them to do that. So that's where you have to be understanding. If you have a boss that's micromanaging you, okay, it's because they're trying to stay in control because they don't know how to depend on anyone. And sometimes they're like that because they have depended on people and it has not worked out.
Yeah.
So you have to build trust with that person. But as a leader, you have to be able to understand the weaknesses and the strengths of your people. You have to be able to identify, know them Know them that work among you, okay? Know them that work among you. I have to know Muhammad's weaknesses and strengths so I don't assign to him things that are not, that wouldn't work well for him, right? If he has a high likelihood to screw something up, I'm not going to assign that to him, right? Okay, so learn how to delegate, but you don't have to stay in control of everything. Release, let go, free yourself of some of your burdens, and let people surprise you. Test them. That's something that Dr. T, our business associate, likes to do. He'll give you a little bit just to see what you can do, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And that's how he learns. Test before you trust, right? And as you start to trust, then you can start to release, and you don't have to control everything, okay? Number 3, and a third thing that leaders know is people don't listen to you because you're their boss. They listen if they respect you. Just the title boss does not make people listen to you. Trust me, okay? This is why there's plenty of people who don't respect their boss and don't listen.
Yeah.
Okay, your title is still the same: boss, supervisor, manager, community leader, project manager, project lead, team lead. Not everybody's going to respect you. You have to lead by example. Okay, do the work with them, not bossing them around. But most of all, you have to be enjoyable. Leaders have to be enjoyable. So there's some element to you that has to be enjoyable. The quickest way for you to have everybody disrespect you and not love you and not do anything you say is to be a jerk that everybody hates. That's all you got to do. Nobody's going to listen to you. Even the people who want to do right won't listen to you just because it's you and they hate you. Do you get what I mean? Even the people who are actually good at their job will not do their job in spite. Because of spite. Just because they can't stand you, they're not going to do it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. You have to be enjoyable.
Like this can literally be a whole episode in its own, this thing.
You have to adapt to them. You have to adapt to them. Know those who labor among you. If you have 5 different sales associates, they have 5 different personalities. One is a mom. One is a
student.
Yeah, one is a student. One is a very analytical person. One is a very tender, kind person. One is a person who has challenges and they're insecure and unsure.
Yeah.
The way you talk to them has to be based on who they are. And if you don't care who they are, they're not going to like you. They're going to feel that. They're going to know that. They're going to internalize that. And it's going to cause rebellion. So as a leader, you have to get to know your people and you have to find a way to be enjoyable. Now, when I say that, I'm hoping that people don't think I mean being, funny and, laughing at your own jokes and thinking you're a funny guy. Okay, that can turn people off. I'm not talking about that. And I'm not talking about be the cool person that lets everything slide. That'll bite you in the butt.
Yeah, don't be like Jake's
fed
manager.
Up. Yeah, don't be like
that's
fed up
not
and forward.
what she's saying.
Not talking about that, but there has to be a side of you that humanizes you to them and makes you a person and gives some personhood to yourself and not just a title and a position. Okay, number 4. Good leaders can identify potential in their people and they don't leave it untapped. The reason why I say that is because many leaders, staff, and I'm going to be speaking about this at a women's leadership group soon.
When
in
is
North.
it? You have the date?
Let me look for it right quick.
I agree so much with everything that you were saying, especially the leaders thing, because in all of my life, the leaders that I was personally respecting, these guys were working.
Yeah.
They were not even leading, they were just doing, starting from my dad. I've always seen my dad working. He wasn't really talking a lot, but seeing him going out, coming back to take care of his family, I've learned that you have to lead yourself to go get it, even if you don't want to. Because a lot of times I could see that he didn't want to, but he was still going because he was being the leader of himself and also the leader of his family.
Mm.
And that's where I've learned all the way from him and from the managers, the other sales managers that I talk to you about all the time. We were respecting these guys because every time they will go out, they will sell at least one account.
Mm.
Every day they will go out, they will sell at least one account. And I've seen that in the other offices, most of the managers were not really doing that. It's not that they were bad managers, it's just that it takes extra levels of commitment and extra levels of dedication to become that kind of leader that delivers every day, all the time.
Absolutely. And so it is on August 25th, it's a Wednesday. It's going to be at 12 noon, and it is the Virtual Dynamic Women's Alliance meeting. And
Is that in person?
no, I think it's going to be virtual. And I'm going to be talking about staffing with intention, right? But anyway, the leader, a good leader recognizes, a seasoned leader recognizes potential. And I'm not just talking about hard skills, because the reason why I got to that is because most leaders staff based on need. They staff based on need. Like, I need a data analyst, I need a social media marketer. They want hard skills.
Right.
These people are
that
looking,
can code.
yeah, they're looking for productivity, for driving revenue. And of course, that's very important. But a seasoned leader looks at the legacy of the business, right? And the legacy of the mission. And that legacy, it goes beyond someone's hard skills. It goes for who that person is inside, right? There's many people who get overlooked, who don't have those hard skills on paper, but their heart is so on fire for that mission and for that business. And they want to work to their best ability. They want to have excellence, and they will get those hard skills if necessary to go the extra mile. And so if you look over those people, for the hard skills people who don't even care about your business, they're already on the job, on Glassdoor, and on monster.com looking for their next job. Okay, because the only reason why they came to your company is because of your offer and because of your package. Okay.
I have a perfect example for this. You know, I talk to you about this show all the time, Undercover Billionaire.
Yeah.
Where Uncle G did season 2. Season 1, it was this guy called Glenn Stern. He's also a billionaire, real estate, bunch of different businesses. So when he got into, the idea is to have a billionaire build $1 million business in 90 days.
Yeah.
If you lose the challenge, you got to put $1 million into the business. So Glenn Stern was he tried a bunch of different things, but the hand was creating a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah.
So he was interviewing a bunch of cooks, and he made a little leadership mistake right here. And
What?
he even said that at the end. He was interviewing cooks. He did a bunch of interviews, and then he did select somebody, right, that didn't really follow through the way he wanted at the end. Because what happened was that person, under high pressure, that person cracked. It was so crazy. I was watching, I was like, oh my God, the lady she hired, she cracked so hard. They even went into fights, beefs, blah, 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 blah. But what happened was somebody that he didn't hire during the interview, he ended up calling back that person. So that person came in under that pressure. That person was a killer. But during the interview, like she did the interview very wrong. She wasn't answering the questions right. She was making mistakes. That's why she didn't get hired.
Yeah.
But she was highly, highly qualified.
Effective.
So when she was put in that pressure situation, she proved herself on field, if I can put it this way.
Yeah.
And then she got the job at the end.
Yes, very true. See, and that's what I mean, identifying the potential. You have to discern your people. You can't be so much about numbers that you're not looking at the people. Zig Ziglar had a quote, and I reposted it on my LinkedIn. I wonder if I'll be able to find it.
Yeah,
I know it, but I want to say it exactly the way that he was saying it. He said, you don't build a business, you build people, and then people build the business. Okay. You have to discern your employees and learn who is the person in this environment that really is aligned with my heart and my mind, who really sees what I'm seeing, who wants to take this further, who has the vision, who has the passion, because that's the person that will be there when everybody else disappears. That's the person that you can count on. That's your protege. That's your true protege. It's not the person who doles out the most numbers, especially when you don't know how they did it. It's not the person who has the most qualified on a piece of paper and the most degrees. It's not about that.
Yeah.
Look at the heart, because I'm telling you, I've seen business owners pay the people who have the best, like the most required and highly in demand hard skills, the most money, and these people care nothing about their company. They literally were there for a paycheck. Whereas the people who really love the company and would have done anything and would have stayed forever got walked over and pushed aside until they just were like, okay, well, forget it, because they're never going to value me here. So I'm just going to go. So be careful. Finally, last one, a good leader or a seasoned leader recognizes that their subordinates will outlive them and will carry on the mission, right? So if I have my kids, for instance, my kids sometimes they work for my company, and I imagine that when they grow up, they're going to work for our company, right? They are going to outlive me, right? God willing, they're going to outlive me. So I have to recognize that. And I have to sow into them, and how well I train them and lead them will determine the legacy of the business, right? And a seasoned leader understands that you have less time than you think. And the reason why I think this way is because most people think,
I agree with that.
I have all the time in the world. I can always do it later. The way I stay productive in my life is I never think I have enough time. I'm always trying to hurry up and do something and get it done so that it gets done. I just don't feel like I have time to waste. I just don't. So this is how you have to look at it. Look at your business like as if you're running out of time to train. Look at it that way. Then you will pour as much training and as much passion and leadership into your people as possible, because you won't procrastinate and you won't just say, well, we'll always get to it, and put leadership and training and building and team building on the back burner. No, if you put that stuff on the back burner and you make everything about numbers, then you're going to have consequences. You're not building people, right? So make sure that in your business, you are paying attention to the people that work among you, discerning them, discerning who will be those who carry on the legacy. let's pour into these people, making sure that you are being zealous about training, about building of these people, and that zeal will spark the passion and the fire in other people. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Next time we're going to talk about, I don't know, just we're going to either talk about leadership principles for men or leadership principles for women. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the differences, but I'm so glad that you guys joined. Make sure that you like, subscribe, all that good stuff, share. And this is on Spotify, Anchor FM, and a couple of others. I'm trying to get on iTunes. I think you have to get to a certain level of listeners to get on iTunes. So come on, get your butts on here. And so I could get on iTunes. I don't even know why that's important to me, honestly. I just think it's just one of my milestones to get on iTunes. But it's been great, guys. We'll see you next time on LeBeau's Lessons. Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Have an amazing day.
Yeah, have an amazing day.